Today, we're interviewing Dr. Sherry Jenkins Keenan. Say it again.
Good morning.
Good morning. Right? From the Department of Criminology and Criminal Justice, University of Memphis, Lambeth.
Yes.
Lambeth enjoys a rich history.
It does.
And you become part of that history. Tell us something about Dr. Jenkins Keenan, and then we'll talk about Lambeth.
Okay. I am coming from the University of Southern Indiana and joining the faculty here at the University of Memphis, but I'm specifically assigned to the Lambeth campus. I am the coordinator for the Center for Community Criminology and Research, and I teach the upper division courses there at Lambeth. And so I have a little over 14 years of experience in law enforcement and corrections in Birmingham, Alabama, Jefferson County. And it had always been my goal to have my PhD.
Okay.
So I have, while I was an officer there in Birmingham, I finished out my school. I have a BA in sociology and a BS in criminal justice from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. I then went on to Jacksonville State and received my Master's of Science in criminal justice. Waited a little while, worked, allowed the kids to get to natural transitions in their schooling, and then went to the University of Southern Miss to get my PhD. And then I've been at Cameron University, and then the University of Southern Indiana, and now the University of Memphis.
Welcome to the University of Memphis.
Thank you.
And I'm quite sure with your background that they, us, really, we love to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
One of the things, because of my law enforcement experience, that faculty, students, and all ask, after you get your PhD, how do you blend your law enforcement experience with the theory and the practices of criminal justice and criminology and criminal justice?
Well, certainly, it's not all theoretical, so how is this applied? How have we seen it applied? Where have we seen it applied and maybe had to be tweaked because it doesn't quite work out the way the third, fourth theorists thought it would? And what happens in one jurisdiction doesn't necessarily equate to a different jurisdiction. But we do have, application ability for those theories to the students.
Sometimes it's difficult to explain to someone that one side of your city will respond in one way to a particular theory, and it would not be appropriate in another part of the city.
Right.
And I think with your background, you are able to blend those two to bring about those understandings. People look for solutions, but they want the solutions to be for all of their city.
Right.
And it's just not
Right.
Not practical.
I want a patent answer.
That's right.
For everything, yes.
How do you like bringing that blend to your students?
Well, it certainly, the students are attracted to that, so it helps build, collegiality between me and my students. It opens the door for further discussions. We get to talk beyond academics into careers in the process, and so really helping those relationships, but they feel like they're getting a real world application of this academics, and so it becomes more meaningful and it becomes stakeholders then in that learning experience.
Are most of your students career focused in law enforcement or in some other form of social science?
I have a nice blend there at the Lambeth campus of those who will be going into law enforcement both at the local, state, and federal level, and those who wish to go to law school. So I was real pleased to be able to get some literature from our law school here at Memphis to bring down, because I have a handful of students. Last year we had about 32 students at the Lambeth campus in criminal justice, and we have 41 starting out this semester. So we're a growing extension here of the criminal justice and criminology program there at Lambeth. And we have a nice cross-section of those who are interested in law school. So that you have to go on to get another degree. So
I know about one of the focuses for the University of Memphis is community. Community, community, community.
Yes.
How do you bring that focus into Lambeth?
Well, being the coordinator of the Center for Community Criminology and Research, I have practitioner stakeholders in these social justice agencies coming in and out of not only the office, but of the classroom as well. We are starting internship programs there at the Lambeth campus. George Meglish is heading that.
Okay.
And so he is building those relationships, so our students now will be able to do internships there locally. And so we do research. So the center has multiple purposes. The first one is to kind of be a repository of information, not only statistically, but from other social service agencies, and then we redisseminate it to other agencies for their use and for their clients' use. We then come up alongside and partner with and do program evaluations with these agencies. But I also bring in students to be, student workers and research assistants in this. Right. So I have 2 right now that work in the center that are collecting databases that other students, other researchers will be able to use when conducting their research. We'll be able to use when we're putting on our workshops and conferences and seminars, which is the 3rd mandate of the CCCR. And so, I have these 2 student workers. One of them is a nursing student, but she's the wife of one of the officers from Brownsville.
Okay.
So we're building relationships even 30 minutes away in Brownsville and 30 minutes away in Henderson. And so just that whole region, we're building relationships, and we're doing a program evaluation for the Madison County Juvenile Court.
Okay.
Judge Little and Amy Brown, who's the director of the Juvenile Detention Center, wanting to look at assessment for their early reporting center, or evening reporting center.
Wow.
So we do that type work, and so we're really building the relationships and partnerships, and then they come in and speak to our classes, and then our students go out. Like today, Jackson Police Department is having a kind of on the lawn application process. They're going to have food trucks, and they're going to be taking in old prescription drugs out of medicine cabinets, so it's kind of a turn-in for that, and then taking applications from our students who are about to graduate in December and in May. So we're building those partnerships that are really beneficial to the students.
So excellent partnership, but I'm going to have to tell you something. I can see your background from law enforcement mixed with academia making this a wonderful success, because many of the things that you're naming is what you had to do when you was in law enforcement.
Correct.
And
Correct.
if you had to encourage students, say, let me just give you an example.
Okay.
Someone goes to the University of Memphis website and they see Lambeth. What would you want to tell them to encourage them to come to Lambeth?
We have the smaller classroom sizes, the more one-on-one instructors. We have 5 instructors, professors, senior lecturers. I'm actually a clinical assistant professor, but we have Mr. Meglish, George. We have 3 adjuncts. They're practitioners, so they're going to get that real-world application and experience from the faculty. They're going to get more of a one-on-one or small group type feel, and although we're growing, they're going to continue to get kind of that personalized. Anytime we have applications that come across our desk where people are taking applications, we disseminate that to our students, so we're really in tune with what the students' needs are, and not only concerned about the student academically, but as a person.
Okay.
Kind of who they are, what their aspirations are, and how we might guide them. I know that Mr. Meglish, he does mock interviews with those who are going into law enforcement when they're about to do their panel interviews. Right. You don't get that normally at other universities. And so we have some personal touches with smaller size classrooms.
Now, you've mentioned members of your staff several times, instructors and professors. Right? Tell us about them. Okay.
There are 2 full-time, myself and Mr. George Meglish. He has 30 plus years of law enforcement experience himself. We then have 3 adjuncts. Barry Michael currently is with Jackson Police Department, and I believe he's an assistant or deputy chief there. And then we have a prominent attorney that also teaches for us, and then we have someone who's in the political arena. So we have all the areas
Great cross-section.
covered, and they teach in those specific areas, and so they bring that real world application to the classroom.
Well, I'm glad to hear that one of the things that you're stressing is real world application. Because in these days and times, we need individuals who are going out on the street to become police officers, FBI agents, to recognize that there is a real world response that they're going to have to address. Right? It's no longer run and gun.
That's right.
Well, that cop came out of me, didn't it?
It sure did.
I want to thank you for your interview. All right?
It's wonderful.
And I just hope that you will have much success there in Atlanta. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.